Hey, what's up, everybody? Ray Sawbill here, and today we're going to be going over Facebook audiences and the top three audiences that I typically make when setting up a new Facebook ad account. Let's get going, guys. All right, here we are inside an Ads Manager account, and I'm just running inside a dummy account right now, so no data being shared here, but the principles are going to be essentially the same. So first off, it's important to define exactly what an audience is, and essentially the number one thing that an audience is we're using some sort of data to say, hey, I want to target this user who either engages with my brand or engages with my page or any sort of customer data you may have as well. So just think of an audience as a cohort of people that you want to engage with your brand through some sort of targeting. So in order to get to that portion of Ads Manager, you're going to want to make sure that you go to the hamburger menu on the top here and then select audiences inside your Ads Manager account. Once you get there, you're going to land on a screen that looks pretty much like this, depending on when you're viewing this video. And the type of audiences that we're going to be making are going to be custom audiences, but there are three separate types. But in this video, we're mainly going to be covering custom audiences. So the biggest thing that I highly recommend that you make right away if you're launching a new ad account is somebody who has just visited your website in the past 30, 60, 90 days, depending on what your conversion window looks like. So I would highly recommend people who have visited your website in the past 30, 60, 90 days. Now, this does require that a pixel is installed on your site. There's a ton of other awesome videos out there that show you how to actually install the pixel. It's not extremely hard, and your developer should be able to help you out within a few minutes with it getting this installed. It's very simple. But just make sure that if you go to create custom audience, you just go to website traffic, test pixel, in your case, the actual pixel that you're using. So you just go to all website visitors, and then you can choose if you want to do 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. And what this means is this user has visited your pixel or your website in the past X amount of days. And then what I highly recommend is you label your audience with something that you are going to know what it is. So when you're creating your ad set later, you can easily grab that information. So something as simple as all user 30 days, 60 days, yada, yada. And then you can say that audience. So easiest audience that you should make right away when setting up your Facebook ad account. It's a no-brainer. Um, then after that, I would highly recommend that you also make visitors by time spent. What this is going to allow you to do is toggle by people who are either in the top 25th down to the top 5th percentile of people who have visited your site. So hopefully these are people who are more engaged with you and are more likely to convert. So I would also recommend that you make a top 25%. If you get a ton of website traffic and your audience sizes are just going to be like huge, make sure you get down to like 5%. But for most businesses, 25% or 10% is going to be fine. So what you can do here is just do like time on site. You can do TOS or time on site, whatever you want to do, and then you can also do 30 days. So that is the second audience I would highly recommend that you create. And then finally, we're going to do a audience that is located on Facebook. So if somebody engages with your page in any way whatsoever, we want to make sure we're hitting those folks because again, hopefully if they've engaged with us, if they're liking our posts, if they viewed our videos, which is also part of this, but if they're seeing our brand in any way whatsoever, we're going to want to make sure we bucket those people and then we target them. So this is my parents' page, but anyways, if you can target people who have engaged with your page, and what this audience means, which with any of these audiences, you can just hover over this little eye here, and it'll tell you exactly what it means. But this just means anybody who's visited your page or who has engaged with your page's content or ads on Facebook or Messenger. And then you can drill down too. So people who visited, engaged, clicked anything. Again, if you're just starting a Facebook ad account and you want to get the biggest bucket possible and then refine down later, start with this everyone who's engaged with your page. It's like a slam dunk audience. And you can obviously go back as far as you want, but I would recommend, again, 30, 60, 90, depending on how many people that have engaged with your site. So if we just want to do 30 people here, and you can do, Facebook page, engaged users, 30 days, something like that. So again, the top three audiences that I highly recommend targeting are all website visitors, time on site, and then people who have engaged with your page. If you do something like that for, the first week or so that you have a new client, if you launch a new website, or even if you're an existing website, you want to make sure that you have those audiences. So then when you're building ad sets down the line, you can target and change your messaging to those very specific audiences and hopefully offer very specific messaging and even promotions to those audiences depending on what sort of strategy you're going for. So just a really quick video here today to kind of go over the top 3 audiences. And I think that's somewhere that you should be starting or at least testing if you haven't done so before. Depending on your level of expertise, this might be a no-brainer for you, but definitely let me know the types of audiences that you guys highly recommend when starting. Typically, when I'm working with a new client or business, I like to start as like big as I can right away and then funnel down over time so you can refine that audience. And one of the key things to mention when building audiences on Facebook is this is not retroactive. So if you create an audience for the past 365 days, it's not going to create that audience for the past 365 days. It's only going to create it from that point forward. So extremely important to remember. So I'm starting to ramble at this point, but that's essentially the very basic principles of the top 3 audiences on Facebook. So let me know what your guys' thoughts are, what audiences you guys have tested with new clients right away, and the success that you've seen. So otherwise, guys, that's all I've got today, and I will see you guys later. See you guys.